there, sleepyhead. I hope you're ready, settled and relaxed to go to sleep. Before we help you sleep tonight, this video is brought to you by Surfshark. Now, Surfshark is a VPN, which stands for a virtual private network, and they help keep your data online safe and secure. So for me personally, keeping my data protected is really important. I've, as you guys know, been an unfortunate victim to a few hacks now, and I can't imagine not now connecting to a VPN, and I haven't had any issues since, so I actually don't connect to the internet at all now without going through a VPN. So the way that Surfshark works is they can keep your data safe and secure online by offering uncrackable encryption, as well as IP and DNS leak protection, and they maintain a strict no logs policy. I also love Surfshark because you can access content from anywhere in the world because you can connect to any server. So it meant that when I was in Lanzarote, I was able to still connect to Channel 4 in the UK, which is not available in Lanzarote. I also find that Surfshark for me is so convenient because I can get it on multiple devices. So I can get it, your phone, your tablet, your laptop. You can even get it on your gaming console and also your TV. So it's really good. And just for you guys at the moment, they are offering you a really good discount. So if you go to the links in my description, you can get 83% off plus 3 months for free when you use my code Scottish. So head to the links and check it out and see for yourself. Okay. So now we're going to first of all work out if you are comfy. Let's have a look at your pillows. So we have this pillow that you're on over here, and this pillow that you're on over here. I also have a softer pillow if you would prefer, such as this knitted one. It's got knitting at the front, like so. If you need an extra bit in the back of your head, let me know, okay? And I can see you've got your covers here and you're all nice and cozy. And I'm taking extra care not to sit on your legs. I'm just sitting beside you on your bed. Alright? So if you need any more comfiness, just let me know. So I wanted to bring some things to you today that might help you sleep, and this includes some autumn lights, like little midlights. So I've made you something. I've made you this. It's a glass pumpkin. And I filled it with leaves and pine cones, and I've added some lights to it. I'll pop these on. Let's see. There we are. Can you see the lights? Little fairy lights inside. So I'm going to sit this make sure not to knock over your tea. Alright. And I have this little pumpkin here. Again, it's a little glass pumpkin with a little glass top. If I switch that on, it's just a really slight light, you see. There we are. And I'll sit this here too for you. And it's just little kind of autumnal lights to make you feel better and to just help you sleep. Is that okay? Alright. Okay. Now, this is freshly wet with a little bit of cold water. So I'm going to cool down your forehead because it's very important to be in a cooler position when you're trying to sleep. So often they say to turn down your radiators between 16 and 18 degrees when you go to bed, because if you overheat, you'll struggle to sleep. So I'm going to try and cool you down. Like so. Your head and your face and ears. There we are. Nice and gently. And I wanted to take this time to tell you how amazing you are. So amazing. And that you need to give yourself some more credit. Because you have achieved so much, even though sometimes you don't feel like it. And you are loved by us all. And you are special. You're one of a kind. You're unique, interesting, kind, and you have a beautiful soul. And you can do anything you put your mind to. And I want you to remember that, okay? Just remember how amazing and special you are. How wonderful you are. You're so very special. You're special to me. And you're special to a lot of people around you, even although they don't always show it. You just have to give yourself some more credit. And stop worrying. Put your worries aside. For now, you can pick them up again in the morning. But for now, you need to just put them on your bedside table and relax. Relax. That's it. There we are. It's okay. It's going to be okay. It's all going to be okay. You've got this. You really, really do. It's so okay. Shh. Shh, 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 shh. It's okay. You are loved. You are worthy. You are valued. And you belong. You are loved. You are worthy. You are valued. And you belong. You belong. You are loved. You are worthy. You are valued. And you belong. You belong. Okay. You belong. Alright. So, I'm just going to gently brush your hair, and then I'm going to give you a little sleepy scalp massage, and we'll use some oils as well to help you sleep before we settle down for a bedtime story. So before we do the scalp massage, I'm going to spray some pillow spray on you. So this one is French lavender, vetiver, jasmine, Roman chamomile, and lang lang. We're going to spray. And you should smell that all come in. We're going to pop a little bit of happy balm on the side of your temples. There. And there. Just to help you feel happy. And we're also going to put a little bit of sleep balm in. So we're going to actually put that behind your ears. There we are. And finally, we're just going to put a couple of drops of the Dream oil in your hair for the scalp massage to work. Okay? And I'm just going to pop some gloves on to do this because it sounds nicer. How does that feel? Good. And then I'll go to this side. There we are. Right, okay. I hope that feels good. So I'm just going to add a tea bag to your tea water. Okay. Set it beside you. I brought these for you today, which is the Pukka Nighttime Organic Tea, which is a dreamy bed of oat flower, lavender and lime flower. So, nights can be long when you most need peace. Here is nature's perfect path to restful nights and vibrant mornings. A gentle crush of oat flower, soothing lavender and silky sweet lime flower. Let rest begin and sweet dreams follow. So I'm just going to pop this We'll let that brew while I read you a bedtime story. Okay, are you all ready? Good. So tonight I'm going to read you The Seller of Dreams. Once upon a time, a mother called her only son into the kitchen, gave him a basket of fine, fresh eggs, and bade him carry them to his Aunt Jane, who lived a few miles down the valley. The son, a lively lad, around 12, obeyed his mother with joy, clapping his little green hat on his head, stepped forth into the road. It was a beautiful, clear morning in spring, and the earth, released from the icy chains of winter, was rejoicing in her freedom and bursting with buds. 1,000 rills flowing from everywhere and in every direction sparkled and sang, and the air was sweet with the odour of ploughed fields. The boy, whose name was Peter, walked along whistling. Suddenly he saw a spot on the road, shining as dazzling as if a bit of the sun of itself had fallen into the earth. A bit of glass, thought Peter. But it was not a bit of glass after all, but a fine golden florin, which must have dropped from somebody's purse. Peter stooped, picked up the gold piece, put it in his pocket, and walked off whistling louder than ever. In a little while he came to a place where the road wound down a little hill, and Peter saw, trudging up this hill, a very strange-looking old man. He was a very old man. His face was puckered up into 1,000 wrinkles like the skin of a shrunken apple, and he had long, snow-white hair, and a white beard which reached almost to his waist. Moreover, he was strangely dressed in a robe of cherry scarlet, and wore golden shoes. From a kind of belt hung 2 horns on silver chains, one an ordinary cow's horn, the other a beautiful horn carved of the whitest ivory, and decorated with little figures of men and animals. "Dreams to sell, called out the old man, as he caught sight of Peter. "Don't you want to buy a dream, young man?" "What kind of dreams do you have?" asked Peter. "Good, bad, true, false, all kinds," replied the seller of dreams. "I even have a few thrilling nightmares. Dreams to sell, dreams to sell." "How much does a dream cost?" asked Peter. "A golden florin," asked the merchant. "I'll have one, please," said Peter, and he handed over the florin he had found. The old man took a kind, wonderful sugar plum out of the ivory horn and gave it to Peter to eat. "You will have a dream the next time you sleep," said he, and he trudged on. So Peter continued his journey, stopping every once in a while to look back at the old strange man who was slowly climbing up the hill. At length Peter came to a little quiet grove of pines, where he sat on a big stone and ate the luncheon which his mother had prepared for him. The sun was high in the heavens. It was close on to high noon. Now as Peter was contentedly munching his bread and cheese, he heard, at first far away, then quite near, the clear notes of a coachman's horn. The notes of the second call died away in a great pattering of hoofs and tinkling little bells, and suddenly, arriving in a great swirl of dust, came a very magnificent coach drawn by 12 white horses. A lady, very richly dressed and wearing many sparkling diamonds, sat within the coach. To his astonishment, this lady was his Aunt Jane. The coach stopped, and with a great jingling of the 12 harnesses, and Aunt Jane leaned out of the window and said to Peter, "What are you doing here, child?" "I was on my way to your cottage with a basket of fine fresh eggs," answered Peter. "Well, it's fortunate I found you," said Aunt Jane, "for I've given up living in the cottage and now have got a castle of my own. Jump in, Peter, and don't forget your basket." So Peter climbed into the coach, closed the door behind him, and was driven away. The coach went over the hill and down dale. It went through strange forests whose branches green parrots whooped and shrieked. It rode through valleys and strange shining mountains. Peter stole a look at his Aunt Jane and saw that she was wearing a crown. "Are you a queen, Aunt Jane?" he asked. "Indeed I am," replied his aunt. "You see, Peter, 2 days ago, while I was looking for my white cow who had strayed away, I came upon the magnificent castle to which we are now going. It has 4 beautiful towers and a door set with diamonds." "Whose castle is this?" I said to the lodge-keeper. "It's nobody's, ma'am," he said. "What?" said I. "Do you mean to say that nobody owns this fine castle?" "That's just what I meant to say, ma'am," he answered. "The castle belongs to anyone who wants it." So into the castle I walked, and I didn't go out, you may be sure, till I had been into every room that I could find. Then I put on these clothes and these diamonds, which I found in a cupboard, and went down and told the servants I intended to be queen. You see, Peter dear, there's nothing that a woman of determination and energy can't accomplish. The coach rolled on, and soon Peter got sight of Aunt Jane's castle. It was rather large and had an enormous round tower at each corner, a thing which brought to Peter's mind the picture of an elephant lying on its back. Peter and Aunt Jane, accompanied by a train of servants dressed in blue and buff livery, walked into the castle through the diamond-studded door. "Do you think you could eat a little more of something?" said Aunt Jane, taking off her white kid gloves. "Because if you can, I'll have a place set for you at the luncheon table." And Peter, who, like all boys, could eat a little more anywhere at any time, readily answered yes. So Peter and Aunt Jane sat down to a wonderful little table covered with a snow-white cloth. "Draw your chair nearer, Peter dear," said Aunt Jane. "I can't," said Peter. It stuck to the floor. And so it was. The chair was stuck to the floor, and no amount of pushing or pulling brought it closer. "That's odd," said Aunt Jane, "but never mind, I'll push the table over to the chair." But like him, the table refused to budge. Peter tried to slide his plate of soup closer to him, but the plate, which the servants had placed in the cloth but an instant before, had evidently frozen to the table in some extraordinary manner, and could not be moved an inch. The soup in the plate, however, was not fastened to the dish, nor were the wonderful strawberry cakes and the delicious ices with which the dinner closed. "You don't suppose this castle is enchanted, do you, Aunt Jane?" said Peter. "Not a bit of it," replied Aunt Jane, "and even if it were," she continued recklessly, "I shouldn't mind, for there's nothing that a woman of determination and energy can't accomplish." There was a pause, and Aunt Jane added, "I'm going to have some guests to dinner this evening, so run round and amuse yourself as well as you can. There's ever so much to see in the castle. There's even a pond with swans in it." Attended by her servants, Aunt Jane majestically walked away. Peter spent the afternoon exploring the castle. He went through room after room. He scurried through the attics like a mouse, and was even lost for a while in the cellars. And everywhere he went, he found everything was immovable. The beds, tables, chairs could neither be moved nor lifted, and even the clocks and vases were mysteriously fastened to their places on the shelves. The night came on. Coach after coach rolled up to the diamond door, which sparkled in the moonlight. When the guests arrived, a silver trumpet sounded, and Aunt Jane, dressed in a wonderful gown of flowering brocade edged with pearls, came solemnly down the great stairway of the castle hill. 2 little black boys, dressed in oriental costume and wearing turbans, held up her gorgeous train, and she looked very grand indeed. Peter, to his great surprise, found himself dressed in a wonderful suit of plum-coloured velvet. "Welcome, my friends," said Queen Jane, who had opened a wonderful ostrich feather fan. "Are we not fortunate in having so beautiful a night for our dinner?" And the Queen, giving her arm to a splendid personage in the uniform of an officer of the King's Dragoons, led the way to the banquet hall. The wonderful party, all silks and satins and gleaming with jewels, swept like a peacock's tail behind her. Soon the dinner was over, and the guests began to stray by 2s and 3s to the ballroom. Aunt Jane and the soldier led off the grand march, Then came wonderful stately minuets, quadrilles, and sweet old-fashioned waltzes. The merriment was at its height when somebody ran heavily up the great stairs leading to the ballroom, and the guests, turning round to see whence came the clatter, saw standing in the doorway a strange old man dressed in a robe of cherry scarlet and wearing golden shoes. It was the Seller of Dreams. His white hair was dishevelled, his robe was awry, and there was dust on his golden shoes. "Foolish people," screamed the old Seller of Dreams, his voice rising to a shriek. "Run your lives! This castle lies under a terrible enchantment. In a few minutes it will turn upside down. Have you not seen that everything is fastened to the floor? Run for your lives!" Immediately there was a great babble of voices, shrieks and more confusion, and the guests ran pell-mell down the great stairs out the door. To Peter's dismay, Aunt Jane was not among them. So into the castle he rushed again, calling to the top of his voice, "Aunt Jane! Aunt Jane!" He ran through the brilliantly lit and deserted ballroom. He saw himself running in the great mirrors of the galley. "Aunt Jane!" he cried, but no Aunt Jane replied. Peter rushed up the stairs leading to the castle tower and emerged on the balcony. He saw the black shadow of the castle thrown upon the grass far below by the full moon. He saw the great forest, so bright above and so dark and mysterious below, and the long snow-clad range of the adamant mountains. Suddenly a voice, louder than any voice of any human being, a voice deep, ringing and solemn as the sound of a great bell, cried, "Tea! It's time!" Immediately everything became as black as ink. People shrieked, and the enchanted castle rolled like a ship at sea, and leaning far to one side began to turn upside down. Peter felt the floor of the balcony deep beneath him. He tried to catch hold of something, but could not find nothing. Suddenly, with a scream, he fell. He was falling, 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 and falling. When Peter came to himself, instead of its being night, it was still noonday, and he was sitting on the same stone, in the same quiet roadside grove, from which he had caught sight of his Aunt Jane in her wonderful coach. A blue jay screamed at him from overhead. For Aunt Jane, the coach, and the enchanted castle had only been a dream. Peter, you see, had fallen asleep under the pines, and while he slept, he dreamed the dream he purchased from the Seller of Dreams. Very glad to still be alive, Peter rubbed his eyes, took up his basket of eggs, and went down the road whistling. The end. So, with that, I bid you a great sleep, and I'll see you soon.